everyone, it's me, Nina. I was tagged by the Ozark Duke to do a little video on our most memorable Christmas in years past. And I've had a lot of memorable Christmases, but I think the one that probably sticks out the most for me is I remember being in probably, let me think what grade I would have been in. Probably 6th grade. And I got to hold my camera because I lost part of my tripod. And I apologize for that. It's probably shaky. I'll try to hold it with both hands. Okay, so I believe my most memorable Christmas would have been, like I said, when I was probably in 6th grade. And I think the reason that this Christmas sticks out the most to me is I was getting older and able to understand that times were tough and able to understand what it took for Dad and Mom to give us all that we had. So I think I've told you guys before that my dad was a really hard worker. And when he was just a young man in his teens, he got his leg shot up by his own dad accidentally. They were on they were rabbit hunting, and my dad was trying to chase out some rabbits, and they didn't do it just for sport. They actually, ate the rabbits. And Grandpa, apparently they got communication was crossed, and Grandpa thought that, I honestly don't know how he thought that something moving in the bush was a rabbit or whatever. But anyway, he ended up shooting, and it shot my dad's one leg full of rabbit shot, just little pieces of the bullet, all in his leg. And they were going to take my dad's leg when he was young, and he wouldn't let him. He would not let him take his leg. He said no. He spent 130 some days in isolation from gangrene, but he kept his leg. So that just goes to show you, my dad's foot on that leg was permanently bent under like this. Instead of having toes out, he walked on the toes, and was painful, and he still had that shot in his leg all over. Sometimes they would move over and get on a nerve and cause him a lot of pain. But I'm saying that just to let you guys know my dad was a hard worker. So even though he was a hard worker, what he did for a living didn't bring a ton of money in. Dad and Mom had 5 kids, and Mom didn't work other than, of course, she worked hard taking care of all of us kids in the house. And Mom's a really good housekeeper and a cook and all that. And my dad worked 2nd shift. So when Dad would get off of work, he worked for a paper company. In his later years, before he retired, he drove the tow motor around, and he would handle those great big rolls of paper. They made, it was actually like a cardboard factory. So in saying that, Dad would get home from work during hunting season, and he would go out and coon hunt. Him and his one good buddy, and whatever coons that they got, they always shared the profit of them. That was when coon hides sold for quite a bit. And I remember me and my sister, and I don't know where the picture's at, but me and my youngest sister Renee, Dad had all of the coons spread out all over the floor and halfway up the walls, and was taking a picture of them. And for some reason, me and my sister must have wanted in the picture, and Dad took our picture sitting on something. I'm not sure what we were sitting on, but just to show how many coon skins were in that garage. Now, I've always been an animal lover, and it always tore me up. And Dad tried to explain to me, many times that God put the animals on the earth for us to be able to use to help ourselves. And I kept thinking in my young mind back then that, well, what are we going to do with all the coon skins? I mean, you sell them and make money, but I guess I just did not quite understand the whole idea of making money to take care of a pretty large family. So I knew that we didn't eat the coons like we did all the other things, you know, the deers and rabbits and squirrel and whatever Dad had gotten. So Dad and his friend Mike took the coons and sold all the coon skins. And like I said, back then you got a lot of money out of a nice one. I think I remember them being $30, $40 sometimes for the great big coon skins. And they split that money down because Mike had a family too. And I learned that year that if it was not for those coon skins and all the time that my dad had spent after work, even though he enjoyed it and he had fun and he had coon dogs and he loved it, it probably still got tiresome on, you know, Dad would work all day, and even though he was, in the later years, was on the tow motor, he would go out in the woods and have to walk, and it would be cold, and Dad's leg, I'm sure, caused him lots of pain throughout the years. But he did that for all of us, for us kids, to make our Christmas what it was. We were not spoiled lavishly with tons of gifts. We always got things that we needed, and then we would have one or two nice toys, like a doll for the girls, or, you know, something to that effect. That Christmas, I remember getting a pink gown and a robe and house shoes and a special pack that had powder in it and all the things that teenage girls back at that time would have really loved, perfume and all that stuff. I didn't get any toys that year. That was the year that I was growing up. And I remember being just a little bit sad that I was no longer considered a little girl anymore. I had responsibilities to help, and Christmas was never going to be the same again. And I remember playing with some of my younger sister Renee's toys that year, feeling grown up and feeling thankful, but yet kind of sad that I didn't get any of those cool toys, you know? So I think that was my most memorable Christmas, the year that I realized that it took a lot of hard work to put food on the table and presents under the tree. And if you love someone enough, you'll do all that you can to make them happy. And all the things that I got that year, it must have really stuck out to me, because I don't remember presents hardly ever. I remember, you know, a couple dolls here and there, but that year I remembered everything, and even the color of my gown and all that. So that year really stood out then in my memory. And I guess it was a blessed year for me to learn that to have anything in this life, it's going to take a lot of hard work, dedication, and love. Love for either the people that you're working for, or love for the memories of your mom and dad that taught you well. And mine did. Mine taught me well. This year, I went down to my mom's. Hold on a second. I went down to Mom's and Chummy's house, and me and Steve wrapped the presents that they had bought their great grandkids. And it brought back so many memories of me helping Dad and Mom as I grew up older, and they would buy for the younger ones and I would help wrap them. So I've been blessed. It doesn't take a lot to bring joy. It just takes a good thought, and I appreciate it all, and always did, and I hope I always will. Today I'm a little melancholy, and I wasn't even going to make a video, but I didn't want to miss any this month for the Vlogmas. And a friend of mine lost her husband today. He went in for a triple bypass, the exact same surgery that I had, and he came through it, and he made it through the night, but then he died this morning. And Boy, if that doesn't put it in perspective, how blessed I have been, I don't know what else does, you know. And then I looked on Facebook and found out that a friend that I had worked with when I was young, right when I got married, she passed away, 54 years old. So as I was thinking back on those memories that I have had in my life and the tag that Rusty left for me to do, I have so many things to be blessed for, you guys. And I wouldn't care if one thing was given to me this year, but I've already been loved by many of you guys even. I got some sunshine from Florida yesterday, and by that I mean a dear, dear viewer of mine not only sent wonderful gifts, she sent some apples and oranges and pears and tangerines from the company in Florida, that she lives in Florida, and she sent them up, and I opened that box and it was like opening a little bit of sunshine, and I'm so thankful for that. I'm thankful to be alive, and I am thankful for each and every single one of you, and I mean that from the bottom of my heart. So just remember the ones that have lost loved ones this year, this close to Christmas especially, and may God bless you each and every single one. Good night.